Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. It is 6:50 a.m. East Coast time, Friday, September 6th. We are 2 days and like 6 hours from lock of week 1 of the NFL season in terms of the main slate on Sunday. My Packers picked up a win last night. That was fantastic. But now I'm going to answer a mailbag of about 10, 11, 12 questions. If you want to be featured with your question on one of these shows, just drop a comment on any single one of my videos. And if I think it's worthwhile and talking about, I'll be leaving it in my mailbag folder on my computer, and we'll be doing exactly this. So I'm going to go through these 10 questions, just answer them. There's some start-sit questions. There's some business questions in terms of fantasy football, how that impacts my actual personal life. And then there's some other questions in terms of just Draftkings related. But this is going to be fantasy football season-long Draftkings. It's going to be anything in terms of a mailbag, Q&A type of deal, but really just trying to help people out. And if you are interested in being a part of this, being a part of the video, let me know. So Ian asks, should I start? And also, before we get into it, welcome to the channel. My name is Sal Vetri. I cover daily fantasy sports in every major sport, MLB, even WNBA, NBA, NFL is finally here. I cannot wait. Down below, I do have a Patreon with exclusive content, loads of value for the NFL. You can check that out down below. A Patreon exclusive leverage video in ownership, talking about where I'm going to be fading, eating chalk. That is going to go out on only Patreon later today, as well as loads of more content. NFL Daily Fantasy course is linked down below. How to make more money in NFL Daily Fantasy sports. Stop just playing the Millie Maker and losing all of your money every single week. There's actually a way to do it. There's actually a way to use bankroll in a smart way to build money and not be taken from your actual savings account. But anyways, let's get into it. Hit the subscribe button if you get any value from this video. We'll start it out with Ian. Ian, what is going on? He says, should I start Philip Lindsay or Devin Singletary? Well, if I'm going to assume that this is PPR, I'm probably going to stick with Philip Lindsay. I do not like either of these guys to start the year. I love Devin Singletary way more long-term than Philip Lindsay. Philip Lindsay is going to be somebody who regresses a lot this year. They have Royce Freeman back there. They added Theo Riddick, who's going to be out for about the first month and a half of the season. But once he's back, this is going to hurt him. So in season-long purposes, if Philip Lindsay has a good game to start the year off, get rid of him as soon as possible. But if this is PPR, Philip Lindsay probably still sees more snaps, although he's probably going to split them pretty evenly with Royce Freeman, indicated in the preseason and training camp. And then Devin Singletary is sort of in a three-headed monster with TJ Yeldon and Frank Gore right now. I don't buy it. Frank Gore's 36 years old and absolute dust. If you think that Frank Gore is going to continue to be a monster in this league, he's now in Buffalo. He's not in Miami anymore. He's not in San Fran. He's not in Indy in the Dome, where his body was able to easily perform a lot to a higher level because of the warm weather on the joints. You're 36 years old now. You're another year older, and you're playing in the coldest environment that you possibly can play in. That is all just hearsay for the whole season. For week 1, Philip Lindsay, because his snaps and opportunities are more secure than Devin Singletary. Next up, Devin asks, hey Sal, question for your Q&A you're doing later in the week. Here you go, Devin. How does your girlfriend feel about you doing DFS full-time? Was she supportive at first, or were there initial concerns? I love this question because me making videos nonstop and grinding really nonstop, it's kind of hard for a lot of people to see that I have a personal life, that I do have to structure out personal life time, that I'm doing these videos at 4 in the morning for that exact reason. But my girlfriend was beyond supportive, has been beyond supportive, has been my biggest cheerleader, and has been really at the end of the day, while I was looking for jobs in the open market, coming out with a master's degree from Penn State, and not having much traction early on, or at least not liking my opportunities I was getting, she just looked at me one day and said, why don't you just do your fantasy stuff and your YouTube stuff full time? There's always been conversations around when I land new advertisements, when I do new things on Patreon, whatever it might be that I'm launching or doing differently, conversations around what that looks like from an income projection standpoint, what that looks like from a budgeting standpoint for my own self. So she's always known where I've been in the path and can kind of tell when things started to ramp up closer to the NFL season about a couple weeks ago. And now with them fully in line, I'm doing this full time, and she was really the person who told me to do it, or at least proposed it. Been biggest cheerleader. There has not been any initial concerns at all. She's been extremely supportive of me doing this full time. And honestly, without her, I probably wouldn't be doing this full time in terms of just having no other cheerleaders. Because when you start to do something differently, especially early on, like I was months ago, even some of your closest friends will make fun of you. Like when you start to do something out of the normal, not just go to your 9-to-5 job, and most likely 75% of people hate that job, people will make fun of you. And I don't care. I want to make videos and 5 people or 10 people are watching on my first couple videos. That's fine, because now we're at a point where we're at. And as long as you can just put your head down and grind and know that you're going to be doing something valuable for people, it will reflect over the course of a year. So having somebody like a girlfriend, parents in your corner cheering you on, cousins, shout out my cousin John. People like that, close friends, some of them as well. But a lot of people will turn their backs and say, oh, this is weird. This person's doing this. How funny is that? And then they'll start to make fun of you. Then they'll start to ponder how you did it. Then they'll start to ask you how you did it. And at that point, it's just too bad, so sad. So the girlfriend's been fantastic. She's absolutely incredible. Back to fantasy. Half point PPR. Which 2 would you pick for a flex? Coop? Hopefully this video I answered this question, so hopefully you went with Allen Robinson when I told you to. But Kupp, Allen Robinson, Josh Gordon, Latavius Murray. If it's a half-point PPR, I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson. Again, you can say this because the game happened last night, but I did respond to this one with Allen Robinson. Just the size mismatch on Jair last night was fantastic. And then Cooper Kupp in the slot now, going to push Robert Woods to the outside, going to have the best matchup in the slot. He was Goff's favorite target last year, and apparently he's fully healed from this injury. Although Josh Gordon is close, I'm going to be going with Cooper Kupp there. Latavius Murray in half-point PPR. I do like Latavius Murray a lot more than the public because Alvin Kamara is still only going to see about 65% of the work in this offense. Sean Payton has made that very clear that Alvin Kamara will not be taking on a bigger role. Latavius Murray will get the Mark Ingram role. Full-point PPR. Gallup or Adam Humphries? This is a very good question. Gallup took a step forward. Dak Prescott looks fantastic. And then you have Adam Humphries, who in very limited work in the preseason saw 6 targets on 8 pass attempts from Marcus Mariota in week 1. Now, overall, I'm going to go with Michael Gallup here. I think that offense is better. The matchup by far is better. Adam Humphries is in a slot where he runs intermediate routes, which should help. But also Delaney Walker's out there in the middle of the field, and that is Marcus Mariota's favorite target. So for week 1, I think you have more upside in Gallup for PPR in terms of touchdown equity. Maybe Adam Humphries sees more receptions. He might be targeted like 6 times, catches 5 of them. But Gallup could be targeted 6 times, catches 2 to 3. But those will be much deeper passes and much more touchdown equity Matt. So I'm going to go with Gallup. So half of this is cut off, but it's fine because I just want to know about the question. So from Keen Burns, he asks, what effect do you think Shady will have on Damian Williams owners this season? Oh, it's going to crush Damian Williams. For week 1, I'm projecting 12 carries for Damian Williams, 8 for Shady, and then like 2 to 3 for Darwin Thompson, the rookie. It absolutely crushed Darwin Thompson. Shady McCoy is going to crush Damian Williams. It's just going to make this backfield unplayable, in my opinion. If you have Damian Williams, if you picked him in the 2nd round, you must have not been watching my early season videos because I would get to Damian Williams in the 4th round, which I clearly was never getting to because he was going earlier, but that's fine. Now Shady McCoy crushes all of his upside. I do think Damian Williams, who's 5 years younger than Shady McCoy, he still is the RB1 on this team. Andy Reid has confirmed that. Yes, there was a video where Andy Reid goes, oh, they're both RB1s, but the starting running back on this team is Damian Williams. They paid him last year. They just paid Shady McCoy a week ago. So this is going to get very just messy in the backfield. It's going to kill Damian Williams' upside. He goes from being drafted as people's RB1s and RB2s to now, in my opinion, he's like a fringe RB4 play. I don't have any interest. I think he's the best pass-catching running back on this team. If you think LaShawn McCoy is still a better pass catcher than him, I don't know where you've been. He's 5 years older. Damian Williams. LaShawn McCoy cannot do what Damian Williams did in the preseason. Run a wheel route, burn every single person on the field, catch it, and then burn these safeties. LaShawn McCoy cannot do that anymore. If you think he can, you're living in 5 years ago. You're living in 2014. But yeah, Damian Williams' upside is just going to be absolutely murdered. I would try and get away from Damian Williams as soon as you can. If you have him, try and trade him. A 2-for-1 package is fine. Just get rid of him. The man is not going to see nearly as much upside, even in this Chiefs offense now with LaShawn McCoy out there. Pick 2, Damian Williams, Rashad Penny, and Kalen Ballage. You can see my comments here. So Ryan Johnson got 2 questions in here. You can see my answers, but for the show, that is a disgusting. The first one is disgusting. Damian Williams, Rashad Penny, or Kalen Ballage. I have to go Kalen Ballage and Damian Williams. Even though I just said Williams is bad, we're comparing him to Rashad Penny, who Chris Carson is going to get all of the work in that offense now. 3rd down pass catching opportunities. Rashad Penny, the 1st-round pick last year, now looks terrible. And then Kalen Ballage is just going to get more work than Rashad Penny. He might see more goal line work compared to Kenyon Drake. The overall spot is terrible for Kalen Ballage against Baltimore, but Rashad Penny, I don't even know if he sees 5 touches in this game, whereas Damian Williams probably sees somewhere around 12 to 15 if you factor in receptions. Kalen Ballage probably sees upwards of 10. I can't even project Rashad Penny for like 6 to 8. So Damian Williams and Kalen Ballage, Ryan. And then the second question, start/sit, Devin Coleman or Tyler Boyd? So it's definitely Tyler Boyd for me. Tevin Coleman is going to be seeing 60% of the work. Matt Breida is going to be a big piece out there in that offense, especially in the pass-catching game. Tyler Boyd, although the matchup is terrible, although his team has a very low implied run total or low implied overall team total, I'm thinking of baseball, the matchup is not great overall, but he's going to be peppered with targets. So it's honestly a thing in terms of quantity over quality here for his targets. If he gets 12 targets, if he catches 6 of them for 70 yards, that's clearly good. I'm not thinking he's going to be efficient or effective because this offense and Andy Dalton, one, is bad, and he's the only guy that this defense in Seattle has to worry about. Sure, Joe Mixon is out there. Sure, Gio Bernard, who just got an extension, is out there, but the offensive line for the Bengals is terrible. They added Javanian Clowney. I don't think they're going to be too worried about stopping the run or limiting Joe Mixon and those guys. So Tyler Boyd, the only viable receiver for the Bengals, I think he's going to be keyed in on a little bit, but still, he's better than Tevin Coleman. He's going to be seeing more opportunities than Tevin Coleman, in my opinion. For PPR reasons, I'm going to be going with Tyler Boyd. So Scott says, great content. So we have a big question here. He says, can you or someone else help me with my flex decision? I took Zeke, but didn't get Pollard to cover his holdout. Well, the holdout's over, so lucky you. My bench options are D.D. Westbrook, Devin Singletary, Robbie Anderson, and Dante Moncrief. I'm leaning DB for the high general floor, but I would love your take. Thanks, Sal. Yeah, you're right. The answer is D.D. Westbrook against the Chiefs. He ran a route in the slot on 90% of his, it was like 89% last year of his snaps. He now looked really good in preseason week 3, having 7 targets, got in the end zone on 10 Nick Foles pass attempts, and he just has a fantastic matchup against Kendall Fuller in the slot. Fuller's an open door. D.D. is an elite route runner out of the slot. This is a high total game. The Jaguars have like a 24.75 team implied total. That's fantastic. This should be a sneaky shootout. By far more volume coming DD's way. I have DD projected for, I think, 9 to 10 targets right now. That's going to be a lot more than Robbie Anderson, who's been dealing with an injury, and will have to face Tre'Davious White, a very good cornerback. Going to be a lot more for Dante Moncrief, who in a passing heavy offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers, still not going to have as much upside as a guy in DD out of the slot. The slot wide receiver position is the best spot to have a guy. If you're going to be playing a wide receiver and he's in the slot, it's just an added bonus. So get to DD there. Honestly, DD is a tier above, if not 2 tiers above, all those other options that you listed. Aaron Jones or Chris Carson, half-point PPR. So this one gets chalked. The answer was Chris Carson. I commented back to this person's, but Aaron Jones played last night. The matchup was terrible. Chris Carson going to get all the work in the world. How's the head doing? The head is doing fine. Thank you for asking, Jesse. I appreciate people caring about the head. Week 1 looks good, great. Week 1 video looks good, but have a season-long question. What do you think about Dar Ogunbowale? Should I grab him now or wait a few weeks? You need to grab him right now. Dar Ogunbowale, if many of you probably don't know, is the 3rd-string running back who made the depth charts, a rookie for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Peyton Barber is garbage. He does not catch the ball. He does not fit into this offense well. Ronald Jones Jr. looked terrible last year. They're saying he's in better shape this year, but has done nothing to kind of take away the Peyton Barber role from the preseason, so that means that he's probably still garbage. He has knee inflammation problems, and then the 3rd running back on the team is Dar Ogunbowale, a rookie who had a very good preseason in camp, and a rookie who can catch the ball. And in this offense, he's already going to be like the 3rd-down pass-catching running back. I'm not shocked if Dar Ogunbowale takes over more role in all 3 of my fantasy drafts. I picked him up in 2, and I got sniped right before picking him in my 3rd one. You should be picking up Dar Ogunbowale right now and stashing him on your bench in all league formats. He is going to be a pass-catching running back in a top 5 passing offense in this league, and he has the opportunity to take over very easily the 1st and 2nd down work because Peyton Barber's dust and Ronald Jones Jr. is dust with similar issues to Todd Gurley in terms of knee inflammation. What are your thoughts on Albert Wilson moving into the slot, says Norick, position, and the Dolphins playing catch-up every game? Yeah, Albert Wilson, he was fantastic last year. He was number 2 in the league in fantasy points per target, only behind Tyler Lockett. Lockett at 3.13 and 2.77 for Albert Wilson. He was a monster. He was high up there leading the league in almost every single just wide receiver advanced stat before he got injured in week 7, and now he's going into the slot in an offense that is, there's no more Adam Gase here, but it's still going to operate very similarly. You had Jarvis Landry got molded in Miami in the slot. You have Ryan Fitzpatrick going to be starting week 1 for this team and should probably start for a while. Josh Rosen is absolute dumpster fire. But yeah, you have Ryan Fitzpatrick who likes throwing to the slot, i.e. Adam Humphries last year in Tampa Bay made him a very good slot receiver who was actually running intermediate to deep routes, which I believe Albert Wilson will also run. For week 1, it's a scary spot against Baltimore, but he's the only guy in Miami that I would touch. I actually like Albert Wilson a lot. If he's on your waiver wire, he's a guy who is very efficient per target, and now he probably has a better quarterback at the helm in Ryan Fitzpatrick. Okay, so there's the Albert Wilson question. How long have you been doing DraftKings, Sal? Says Keen Burns. What's going on, Keen? So I've been doing DraftKings since high school, honestly. So I graduated college. I did a 5-year program, so that's 5 years. And then probably like my junior year of high school, I started to learn about DraftKings. So 7 years I've been doing DraftKings total in terms of playing it. But in terms of being very serious with it, about 2 years to a year and a half now. Really since like football ended, since NBA started, not last year but the year before, or like football ended and then I got into NBA. So for about a year and a half, looking into advanced stats, starting to create content around it, maybe closer to 2 years in terms of having a bankroll management tool in Excel, which you can get in my daily fantasy course. Having just contest selection, learning more about rake, everything like that, finding out places to get more money down for lower rake, like FantasyDraft, which is linked down below. You can check that out, linked up above as well. So that's how long I've been doing it, 7 years. Seriously, though, for about 2 years, breaking down into data and analytics for about 2 years and creating content around it will be, in October, will be 1 year. And again, we're on pace to hit 10,000 subscribers in 1 year, so thank you all so much. That is the last question for this show. If you want your start-sit question, your question about just anything in terms of fantasy, business related, answered on this mailbag show. This mailbag show will be coming out every Friday, more than likely, at the latest every Saturday. So I appreciate your support. Hit that subscribe button if you can. If you got any value or you have another question, drop it down below. I'll be sure to answer it. And if you want to be featured in next week's mailbag show, just make sure to reach out to me on Twitter or on any of my YouTube videos with a comment for next week, week 2 of the NFL season, either DraftKings, season-long related, whatever it might be. Follow me on Twitter at SalVetriDFS. You can check out all the free stuff and some of the paid options down below in the description. My name's Sal. You already know that. Thank you all. Peace out, gang.
Hey, hold up. 1 second. Check out this page if you haven't yet subscribed. Hit the subscribe button, all right?
And if you're interested in Patreon, if you're not already a Patreon, you can hit that button on Patreon, become a Patreon. It will take you right there. You can also check me out on Twitter at SalVetriDFS. And hey, if you're interested, this next video that's about to pop up, why don't you check it out as well. See ya.